Drum roll, please, Jeff. All right. Swami Beyondananda. Oh, and the second half of today's show is all in Yiddish.
Okay, everybody find the seat. If you're sitting next to an empty seat, raise your hand. If you're sitting in an empty seat, raise your hand. Oh, the disembodied ones are with us tonight. Nobody's sitting at the feet of the guru. I guess that, there's actually a recovery group for people who spend too much time sitting at the feet of the guru. Overeaters Anonymous, it's called. Okay, who has a question for the Swami? Yes.
Swami, do you believe a mass rapture is coming?
Do I believe a mass rapture is coming? Yes, it's an inside job. We each bring our own happiness. You see, that's something. We're waiting for something outside of ourselves to make us happy, to make us rapturous, when really it's an inside job. We have been hoodwinked by, of course, winking hoods in this world, into believing that we have to consume all of these things, buy all of these things in order to be happy. And we are made to be envious of other people who might be happier than we are. Sigmund Freud called this happiness envy. Somebody's happiness might be bigger than mine, So the idea is the rapture is something that we all gather this together and we don't need to go anywhere and leave our clothes to the resale shop. No? All we have to do is actually be here together. We are here to regrow the garden and have a heaven of a time doing it. So rapture right here on earth, yes? Who else? Yes. Yeah.
I'm concerned about this whole end of the Mayan calendar and 2012 because that's so scary, or a lot of trouble is happening, or because of the end of the Mayan calendar.
Well, I think there's a lot of trouble happening, period, yes? But you see, I think that there is a great ending, but there's a great beginning at the same time. It's like the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. Okay, so the caterpillar, when the caterpillar begins to deconstruct, it's very chaotic. But these new cells called imaginal cells pop up. Yes? And that is who we are. We are the imaginal cells who are receiving a different signal that we're all in this together. And so while the caterpillar is falling apart, the butterfly is falling together. So maybe it's the beginning of the world. Yes? The beginning of the world is near. Yes. Yes.
Swami, I'm experiencing a lot of stress in my life, and my friends tell me that I'm creating myself. But I really think that God's just punishing me. For no good reason.
For no good reason? Well, you think you're doing something wrong and God is punishing you? Is that what it is? Or for no reason?
She's just doing it for no good reason.
Oh, she's doing it for no good reason. Well, actually, this is all a matter of perspective, okay? And really, when we begin to feel things like that we are singled out. I had a friend one time who had all of these feelings that she was upsetting people, and she was very neurotic about it. And she asked me, she said, "Does everybody in this whole neighborhood hate me?" I said, "Of course not. There are people here who don't even know you." So often when we think that the Creator has singled us out for punishment, it is really an ego issue. But it is so simple to release. It is so simple to release the grip of the ego. Would you like to learn how?
Yes.
Very simple 3-word mantra. Ready? Ego, egoing, egon. Like that. And if that doesn't work, try mental floss. 4 to 5 transcendentists recommended. Okay, who else? Yeah. What can each of us do to make the world a better place? I say that actually smiling. It sounds so simple. But you know, people come to me, they say, I want to uplift humankind, and they look like this. Well, here's a start. Begin by uplifting the corners of your mouth. We call it the levitational pull. Just like that. Now, you know, people tend to underestimate this idea of humor being good for you and a positive thing. Scientific experiment. They took a group of college students, put them in a room with hilarious comedy videos. Took another group, put them in a different room, made the other ones memorize Croatian parables. Gave them an electric shock every time they made a mistake, and the results were conclusive. The ones watching comedy had more fun. Yes.
If you had a chance to go to the White House, what might you say to the president?
If I had a chance to go to the White House, what might I say? I am so humble that I myself would not be able to say anything. But in order to speak to him, I would have to channel the late, great Richie Valens. So can I do that for you? Okay, it goes like this. Obama, 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 Obama. I had a hope, Obama was his name. He won the race, but hasn't changed the game. 'Cause I love my world, Obama, where can you be? We need your cheek. Now that you won, I feel so alone. You bailed out the banks, but millions lost their home. 'Cause I love my world, Obama, where can you be? Where can you be? Oh, Obama, now that you're in, don't you know what to do? Just ask the ones who work for you. Boom, 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 boom. I had a hope, Obama was his name. He won the race, but hasn't changed the game. 'Cause I love my world, Obama, where can you be? Where can you be? Obama, 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 This is the whole story, is that we don't need a revolution in this country, we already had one. We need an evolution, a grassroots evolution to overgrow the current system of lowest common denominator, where the uncommonly wealthy have stolen the commonwealth. It's a mining issue. That's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. I'll tell you a relevant story. Okay, relevant story. There is a Swami, a rabbi, and a hedge fund manager. Traveling through the Midwest. They need to stop for the night. They stop at a farmhouse. The farmer says, I only have 2 beds. One of you will have to sleep in the barn. Well, the Swami says, I am a humble man of God. Off he goes. But 5 minutes later, it's a knock on the door. He says, there's a cow. Cows are sacred, but I cannot sleep near one. Rabbi says, I have no issue with cows, and off he goes. 5 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. There's a pig. Pigs are not kosher. I can't sleep near a pig. Well, at this point, the hedge fund manager says, I have no issue with any animals whatsoever. And off he goes. 5 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. It's the pig and the cow. Now, the question is, why is that funny? because it's not funny. It's not funny. And so this is the whole idea. You know, it's so easy for us to point a finger at somebody else and say they are not doing their job, it's somebody else's fault. Yes? The blame game is a lame game. So it's very important that we take responsibility and begin to have communications across the party lines so that we gather around the virtues and values that we all share in common, left and right, and that is the only way we can isolate the sociopathogens. I have nothing against criminals, okay? I just don't want them running things, that's all. But if we want something to change, there's nobody else up there, it's up to us. Okay, who else? Yes?
Who's your favorite superhero and how would they change the world?
Who is my favorite superhero and how did they change the world? How would they change the world? Well, you know, I'm saying that, you know, like so many people who are looking at spiritual teachers for that something is special about them, it's not about the superheroes. It is about each of us being our own superhero. You know, we are a superpower. Like I was saying, we the people, we are super powerful. We are the super duper power, but we have been super duped into thinking that we're not powerful. Yes? Okay. It's like people point to me as a guru, and I point right back to them. I say, I'll spell it out for you. G-U-R-U? G-U-R-U, right? And you know, you want to hear the guru rap song? I'll give you the guru rap song. It goes like this. I'm doing it Acapulco because I don't have music. Okay. I am the Swami, I am here to say our purpose on the planet is to laugh and play. If everyone lived life this way, we bring about non-judgment day. Imagine a world without judgments. Everyone would win beauty contests. Beyondananda is my name. Fundamentalism is my game. Everyone gets transcendental when the fun comes before this mental. You want this truth to come across? Clear your mind with mental floss. Like this. Back and forth twice a day, you'll prevent truth decay. Now, I am on a special mission to bring the people television. Telling your vision, that's the key, because what you get is what you see. I tell a vision, you tell one too. You can be your own guru. G-U-R-U. 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 There you go. You know, I have to tell you something. Each of us, people talk about what is the secret to peace, what is the key to getting along. Don't get even, get out. Because if we focus on our unique oddness, there will be no need to get even. Each of us is totally unique, just like everybody else. Okay, who else? Yes.
So could we use humor to talk about painful themes like the ecological position?
Like what?
Anything painful, anything tragic, can we use humor to talk about?
Okay, now first of all, to be serious about it, sometimes humor isn't appropriate. There are sometimes that people need to feel sad, they need to be upset, but when suffering no longer serves a purpose, and people ask me, how do you feel, when I say that we need to lighten up, they say, well, how do you explain then the suffering of all the people in the world who don't have enough to eat? You know, and I say that is very easy to explain. What's hard to explain is the suffering of all the people in the world who have plenty to eat. Right? So much of the suffering is self-imposed. It's very, very important that we realize that. So if we want to actually do something that actually lightens things up, we have to begin with ourselves. And so I recommend either Bullwinkle or Rocky training. Girls may want to do Rocky. You get up in the morning, we call this wake up laughing, and you look in the mirror, and if you don't laugh instantly, just pretend you're looking at somebody else, okay? And then depending on whether you want to go low or whether you want to go high, you channel either Rocky or Bullwinkle to tell people your troubles. Oh, nobody loves me, Bullwinkle, you know. It's like well, but really, I mean, think about it. You know, then you look in the mirror and you go, well, I feel really stupid today, you know, and you start laughing at yourself. Now, Bullwinkle is, you know, I have to tell you, how many people really like Bullwinkle? Or when you don't, you've not seen, you're not familiar with Bullwinkle. Well, he was a very famous cartoon moose. In fact, he kind of defined the genre. And you know, he actually was very, very smart. In fact, after he retired from TV, he became a behavioral psychologist. I'm serious now. Okay, would you like to hear Bullwinkle channel B.F. Skinner? Yeah. Okay, ready. Hey, Rock, why don't you play Habit out of my rat? Nobody ever likes that one. I don't know. You know, I have been billed as the only Swami who channels both Elvis and Bullwinkle. But very few actually channel Bullwinkle channeling Elvis, so I'm going to do that for you. Ready? Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. It's down on the end of Lonely Street as Heartbreak Hotel. Okay. But you see, that's what you need to do. You start with yourself. You start with yourself. That's the whole idea. If everybody took responsibility for their own internal happiness and brought it with them wherever they went, their light would be shining, and everybody else would get the idea. Okay? It's not the only solution, but it's a good one. Do you have a question?
Yeah, who would be your great spiritual
My great spiritual...
teacher?
Oh, well, I as a child, I would spontaneously, I lived in Oklahoma, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. And spontaneously would go into yoga poses as a child. No, really. And in fact, by the time I was in the Boy Scouts, I could tie myself into 12 different knots. My parents took me to the greatest spiritual teacher in Oklahoma, the great Native American shaman, Broken Wind. That's where I learned the Gaston projection, yes. He was a very, very powerful teacher, and I was an impetuous child, mischievous. He would sit to meditate, and every now and then I would interrupt him and do the Heimlich maneuver with him. He let me do this, but then one day, true to his name, he gastrally projected me across the room. I learned a valuable spiritual lesson. Don't squeeze the shaman. I studied with the guru of rock and roll, Baba Umama. Yeah, Baba Umama, that's right. He taught me the golden rule of rock and roll. Do up unto others as you would have them do up unto you. Yes? I studied with the guru of the stock market, Yuan Tibet. That was his name. He was a Taoist. So yes. So I know there's many teachers that we have, and we all have something to teach one another. Yes. So I don't look up. I don't look down. We look right like that. Okay. Yes.
I know you like to make life things you ever spoken.
Have you ever spoken at a funeral? You know, actually, it's interesting. How many people believe in reincarnation? Great to see you again. And again. Who does not believe in reincarnation? Well, you will in your next lifetime, don't worry. No, it's amazing these days, talk about speaking at funerals, it's amazing these days who believes in reincarnation. A while back, I was down in Georgia, I spoke to a group called the Dixie Reincarnationist Church. When they give their last rites, they say, y'all come back real soon, now you hear?
And
I'm not ignoring you in the back. I'll be next. Yes, go ahead.
Swami for President.
Yes, yes.
You speak about a 7-point plan, a 7-step plan
Yes.
for changing the face of our country.
Well, we actually have had a change of, the empire does have a new face. What we need to change is the same big fat ass. That's what has to really change.
Outline those steps for us.
Oh, you're asking me a quiz on my own book. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have outlined them. Now, I know you did not like that answer, but I wasn't so crazy about the question either. So. Since that book was written, by the way, things have gotten so, they sped up so much that there's not even time for 12 steps, 7 steps anymore. We have to boil it down to 3 steps. So here are the 3 steps, okay? This is, and it's in the spontaneous evolution as well. First of all, evolutionary awareness. Becoming aware that we are all cells in the same body of humanity. Very important to become aware of that. Because at that point, we begin to recognize that we're all related. And we don't use our energy fighting one another. We can focus our energy working together. It's not survival of the fittest, it's thrival of the fittingest. Okay? Number 2 is evolutionary intention. Evolutionary intention, that is realizing every day you're living into the new story rather than the old story. There's plenty of old story out there, right? But as someone once said recently, Martin Luther King did not deliver a speech called, "I have a complaint." Right? So it's important to stay focused on what we want. That's the intention. Finally, evolutionary practice. Every day we're doing something that reminds us that we're living in this new world, that we're part of the whole new world. A new reality, that we're part of the butterfly organism, and we're not watching the collapsing caterpillar. Have you noticed that every institution in society is collapsing? They're doing the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. The educational system. Somebody asked me recently, and in some ways, I have to say this, we have a toxic culture. And somebody said, Swami, I am concerned that my children are going to become sexually active too soon. Would it be helpful to teach sex education in the school? I said, absolutely. Because if schools teach sex the way they teach everything else, the kids will lose interest. Healthcare, we have an unhealthy, uncaring system that's based primarily on money, on making money. You know, and the drug companies, I have to be blunt once again, they actually invent diseases so that they can sell their drugs. Restless leg syndrome. They should do what they did in the old days, get a helper humping dog. It's organic, right? Natural. Now, but see, the good news is that all these things are falling apart. What's coming together are these new techniques that are very much more efficient and use less energy. Like, you know, energy healing, magnetic healing. Has anybody had a magnetic healing session? It's powerful, isn't it? I had one about 2 weeks ago. I was stuck to my refrigerator for 3 days. The other thing we have to do is we have to recognize that we cannot go on burning all these fossil fuels. Fossilized, we're being ruled by fossilized fools fueled by fossil fuels. We need, instead of nuclear fission, we need nuclear fusion. Harnessing the power of the sun. I am so proud, where I live in Santa Rosa, California, I'm very proud of this. Somebody invented the world's first solar-powered tanning salon. It's outdoors. Okay, who else? would I like to say to the Dalai Lama? Now, I have to tell you, I admire the Dalai Lama so much because he does not take himself seriously. I was watching, see, we are so afraid to say that we don't know. And yet here we are facing the unknown. What better way to face the unknown than by not knowing? I don't know, I'm ready to face the unknown. So I'm listening to the Dalai Lama. He's being interviewed by this very serious American Buddhist scholar, asking him very technical questions about Tibetan Buddhism. For every other question, Dalai Lama's answer is, I don't know! And that's why part of my television, part of my vision that I would like to see, is someday in the very near future, the Dalai Lama being able to return to live in his homeland where he belongs. Yes. And here's what I'd like to say to him. When he gets off the plane, I would like to greet him. And I want to say to him, hello, Dalai. Hello, Dalai. It's so good to have you back where you belong. Oh, there's a hand, yes, yes. Yes, you, yes.
What would you say is the highest state of enlightenment?
Oh, the highest state of enlightenment. Minnesota. Now, then see Florida, that is one of the lower states. And you know it's one of the lower states because you have to drive north to get to Alabama. That is a high state of enlightenment. But you see, levity is a high state of enlightenment. There's a certain point where there's no words that need to be said. Just the laughter says enough. Because we take things so seriously, don't we? I mean, really. If we actually meditate on laughter, we can actually hear a laugh track. There's a laugh track behind us, you know. Some people feel they have background music as they're walking, but laugh track, we have a laugh track. Yes. Well, anybody back there that I missed? Okay, then thanks for being upfront with me.
I wanted to talk about chakra. How do you activate your chakra? If someone's lost a chakra, how do you activate? How do you get it back?
Lost chakra? I think that I thought I saw a lost chakra center here at the Meta Center. Lost and found, lost chakras. Well, one thing I know is that every chakra is important. They all made the top 7 again this year. Has you lost a chakra? No, okay. Has anybody found a chakra? I think we're keeping our chakras to ourselves, I guess. As well it should be. Okay. It's a very intimate group, but yes.
Would you like to meet Jon Stewart and get on the show?
Would I like to meet Jon Stewart and be on a show? Absolutely. I think that what's so interesting about these days is that the only way to tell the truth is through comedy, because everything else is so threatening. You know, say, well, how can you laugh about politics? Well, because there's definitely something funny going on. Now, I mean, I think that there really is truth decay, and that's why comedy allows the bitter pills to be liberated. But one of my visions is that in this country, at some point in the near future, we will be able to tell the truth without comedy. Even though comedy is very powerful, we should be able to tell the truth without it. We'll be healthier that way. Okay, who else?
But that was always the case. The court jester was the only one who could tell the truth.
Well, yes.
So maybe you're just a
Well, that was yesterday.
court jester.
Yesterday.
We use humor to talk about religion.
Oh, humor to talk about religion. Well, I think that's a very, very good point. Because, you know, I'm being an optimistic, I think you can teach an old dogma new tricks. Because every dogma, no matter what breed of dogma, they must answer to the one same master. And maybe the fact that we're all in this together, love thy neighbor as thyself, that's the one suggestion. Yeah, we may not need all those commandments without the one, if we follow the one suggestion. I think that that's what's happening. Part of the upwising is people recognizing that they don't need to worship the finger, they need to look where the finger is pointing. At the bottom of every religion is some version of the golden rule. And so if we want to restore the rule of the golden rule over the rule of gold, no, listen, I mean, the rule of gold, they have their own commandment. Do unto others before they can do unto you. And listen, we've got plenty of dumb doo-doo. And in the shrinking world that could use a good shrink, the dumb doo-doo could be our undoing. Unless we undo the doo-doo we've done. Don't you think we're dealing with the residue of dumb doo-doo? Yes, okay. Well, the way that we do that is through love and laughter. Love and laughter. That is fun. Because again, you bring people together in a room and you have them all laughing at the same thing with one another. You open the clown chakra. You create a force field powerful enough to heal the hole in the boson layer. Here's a true story. True story. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, Americans and Soviets were actually meeting to discuss possible trade between the two countries. And when news of the missile crisis hit, everything stopped. Tremendous tension in the room. And finally, one of the Soviet delegates raised his hand. He said, I suggest we each go around and tell a joke. He volunteered to start. His joke was, what's the difference between capitalism and communism? In capitalism, man exploits man. In communism, it's the other way around. And of course everybody laughed and they were able to then go about their business. Because it relieved the tension. It released all of that tension. And so that's what brings people together. Jokes that actually celebrate what we have in common rather than separate. It's important to recognize that we have differences, but celebrate them. Like the representation of heaven and hell as it applies to the countries in Europe. In heaven, the police are English. The mechanics are French. The lovers are, the cooks are Italian. Right? The mechanics are German. And it's all run by the Swiss. In hell, the police are German, the cooks are English, the mechanics are French, the lovers are Swiss, and it's all run by the Italians. It's totally different. Okay, I have several answers left, so any more questions? Yes.
My name is Diana, and I'm enjoying it very much.
Yes.
And I would like to know, musicians, creative writers, when they do something with their channels, how do you get your creative expression? Where do you get your voice?
Well, I get it from the farce fields. I've done there's farce fields everywhere that magically allow jokes to materialize in front of your eyes. And sometimes because if I attune myself to the farce field, this can happen. This happened to me a while back. I was speaking, you're familiar with Kaiser Permanente? It's one of the health maintenance organizations. I was speaking to a group called the Physician Wellness Group. And what an oxymoron that was. They were very unwell. And I'm looking at this group and I see that most of the doctors are from third world countries, yes? And so I'm doing this and it's going okay, but the universe had a better idea. I'm in the middle of my talk, all of a sudden I get interrupted. Over the PA we hear, your attention please, your attention please. Will the owner of a white Explorer, license number BK3 450, please move your vehicle, you're blocking traffic. Well, I looked at these third world people. I said, you know what? I think that most of the problems in this world have been caused by white explorers. The farce was with me, you see? Okay, yes.
I seem to be worried about earthquakes these days. Is there anything you can tell me to relieve my worry about that?
Okay, worried about earthquakes, it's so simple you won't believe it. When you find a fault, don't dwell on it.
When you're not a Swami and you're at home, you're being yourself, what do?
You don't think that this is me? You know what? The word Swami means one who has mastered themselves. And I became a Swami when I realized who could possibly be a better me than I could. That's right. I'm beyond all that now. Okay, you have a question? Okay. Will the divorce rate ever go down? Well, you know the statistics are, you know what the statistics are telling us, don't you? The leading cause of divorce is, of course, marriage. 100% of divorces began with marriage. Now, I think it's very, very important that we recognize, you know, sometimes we let ourselves get so caught up in our own little stuff, our own little issues, we don't recognize that we have a loving partner. It's very, very powerful. So I say you have to give your partner an esteem bath every day, so that you both leave for work under a full head of steam. Okay, we got one more question. Who is the one more question? Okay, yes. Why do I think we're here on this planet? That is a hugely complex question. And because of that, I'm going to have to actually split it into two questions. First question, why? What was the second question? Do we appear to be on this planet? We appear to be on this, yeah. Why are we on this planet?
Why are we on this material?
Why are we on this material planet? Well, we are, yes. Why, yes. Are we here on this material planet? Apparently we are. There's your answer. We are actually here on the material plane to get more material. That's a materialized at the last minute. Anything else before I sing my final song?
What great wisdom will you leave us with?
You want me to leave already? Okay. Okay, I'm going to channel. Okay, you want the channeling? Okay, I'm going to turn the channel. I'm going to channel the late, great Sam Cooke with a message for everybody. It goes like this. Don't know much about astrology, can't figure out numerology, don't know Eastern philosophy, ain't read the Celestine prophecy, but I do know that we are one, and if we all join in the fun, what a wonderful world this would be. Now I don't claim to be enlightened, I'm not trying to be, but maybe we can enlighten our burdens with a dose of levity. Don't know much about Deepak Chopra, think I saw him once on Oprah. I don't channel any entities with ancient gossip from the Pleiades, but I do know that we are one, and if we all join in the fun, what a wonderful world this would be. Na 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 na, philosophy. Whoa 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 whoa, prophecy. Yeah 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 yeah. Deepak Chopra, once on Oprah. You know that we are one, and if we all join in the fun, what a wonderful world this would be. Everybody, what a wonderful world this would be. I got one more word of wisdom before we depart. By the way, how many people believe in the hereafter? I'll be here after. Now I read this. I think Scientific American had this article that physiologically laughter is a lot like orgasm. So thank you for coming. Namaste. And namaste. Goodbye. Thank you.
Swami Beyondananda back again, will you come? More orgasms, I guess, huh? Anyway, thank you so much for coming. I want to thank Alan Seinfeld, my good friend, Jody Sorota of Meta Center, Paul Sarkis, Jeff Gold for helping us out today, and to all of you who came to enjoy the fun with us. Take this and go home and spread the word. Thanks so much.